So it was the year 2020. Right before I went back to work, I was out of work for 8 weeks. And I definitely want to express gratitude in front of you all to God, because those 8 weeks that I didn't work, like, I never missed a bill. There were people that I have not seen or heard from or anything in like 8 years who were messaging me on like Facebook and stuff. You know, I feel called to send you money. It took a lot for me to accept it, and a story. I guess I'll tell the story since we're telling everything here, aren't we? Alright, so I was out of work, right? Everyone was out of work basically. You know, and I'm self-employed, so I wasn't getting unemployment. And it's just me, right? And my girls. And, you know, I was dating someone at the time. But I had a hard time accepting help anyways. And I think that either he just fully believed that I would be taken care of, or I don't know. Okay. So I was having a hard time with this, and so I went to the park, and it was right across the street at the time, and I took some bread with me to feed the ducks, little pieces of bread. And I was praying, like, God, what am I gonna do? I don't know what to do. Like, everyone's out of work, obviously, but how are we gonna be taken care of, you know? And my phone went completely black, like it went dark. So I would listen. I know that now. I was just like, great, now I'm gonna need a new phone on top of that. Like, that's what was going through my head. And yeah, so I was praying that, and then I was quiet, and I was feeding the ducks the bread. And one by one, they were walking up to me, just taking the bread and walking away. You know, duh, that's what they do. Well, my spirit team, or God, was like, you see how the ducks are just coming up, and they're just taking the bread, and they're not taking anything from you, and they don't feel bad for it. They're eating the bread. You're offering it to them out of your excess, like you don't need it anymore. It's just extra that you had, and you're blessing them, and they're blessing you as well by letting you hear this message. And I was like, wait, right? So God was like, it's okay to receive, because if you don't accept help, then you're taking away that person's blessing too. And then when you say, oh, God's got it, God's gonna take care of it, God's gonna take care of me, I'm not worried about anything, but you reject the help that I send you. I send help through people. And if you reject the help that I send you, you're not gonna get any help at all. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh. Okay, so that was in 2020. And that next day, I swear, I sent my boyfriend at the time, I sent him screenshots of, it was like 4 or 5 people who messaged, called, texted me all at the same time the next morning, because I had accepted that message from God that, you know, it's okay to receive, and you can't sit here and say, you know, God's gonna take care of everything, but not accept what he sends you through people. And I was like, okay. So yeah, we were definitely taken care of the whole time. All right, so around that time, it was definitely guided. Like, this would not have happened, I don't think, if the shutdown hadn't happened. I really truly believe that COVID was the COVID fiasco situation shutdown was an opportunity for us to get closer to ourselves and to really connect with our true calling and our true purpose again. Because in the day-to-day life of the hustle and bustle of everything and just getting caught up in our to-do list and our agenda and our freaking matrix, right? It's easy to lose sight of what we're actually here for. So not that I'm not here for what I do, but there was an aspect kind of missing, right? So anyway, it was during that time that God laid it on my heart to like start a website. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. What? Okay, well, I'm gonna trust you, right? So I start, like, God's like, I'll give you all the material, you know, to put in there, like, you'll be guided. And I was like, all right, whatever. Like, you know, I'm like a crazy person that believes that all things are possible with God, because I do believe that, and I've seen it before. Okay, and that's what I'm on here to talk about. Right? That's what we're doing. But, yeah, so I just went to... I researched like how to have a domain name, you know, and I prayed about what the name should be. The name came to me, that's what I named it. And then like I literally just followed spirit, and I put the topics, and whenever I would write, it was just flowing. So it was all channeled messages, right? And some of the stuff I was writing, and I was like, oh, like that. Kind of like when I'm teaching or explaining something to somebody, it's like, oh, wow, that's good. Oh, my. Like that. Like I'm learning myself, too. Anyway, so I'm creating this website, right? And it's, like, crazy. Like, I'm like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe, like, this is actually working. Like, look at this button, it's working. Like, I would tell my boyfriend at the time. Like, look, oh my gosh, I can make a label for any, like, I can put any word on this label that I want. Like, anyways, it sounds crazy, but like, I didn't know how to do that, but like, I did, you know, because God, yeah. Anyway, I built the whole thing and all that, and then I'm like, now what, right? It's like private. No one can see it. But I was like, I just kept it private for a little while. I'm like, well, I don't know what to do with that, you know? And one night, like, I was in meditation, and God's like, you have, like, a blockage, you know? And I was like, what? You know? Like, you have a blockage in like, you can't share your story. You know, you're not able to share your truth. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Oh, okay, but why? Right? Yeah. Well, I was taken to a past life. Yeah. I was taken to a past life, and I was completely guided this whole time. So let me explain it to you here. Yeah. So anyways, I showed up at this like kind of dirt road area. And it was kind of like the old-timey movies where like they had like the saloon and all that stuff, you know what I mean? Okay. And I had on this light blue dress. Okay, it was a light blue dress. And a braid on one side. Okay, and I was standing outside, and I could see all of the saloon and all those little buildings and stuff. And I was looking straight at my dad in that life. And he was like kind of like a carpenter, I think, because he was working on wood. And she was arguing with him about having to go inside. And he was telling her that it's dangerous for her and she needs to go inside until, the coast is clear and stuff. And I was kind of to her left side, like right here. Like my spirit was right here, kind of to her left. I mean, to her right, I'm sorry. I was on her right side. So I was on her right side right here. She was to my left. Okay. So she ran into this shed. She just took off running. She was upset and she ran into this like shed looking place. And it was their house where they lived. It was their dwelling. And sat down on the bed. She sat down on a bed, but the bed was like, hay, like it was super hard, firm with like some kind of fabric over it. I just remember how it felt. I was still on her right side, and she sat down and she had a piece of parchment paper. I say parchment paper, but it was like just like this yellow, like rough, like paper, so I'm not really sure. And okay, and then I'm gonna go turn this down, sorry. Gosh, it got too loud. Okay. Anyways, she had this paper, and it was like this, like, some sort of paper, okay? And she was writing a letter to her dad, and I was sitting right beside her. And I think she kind of knew that I was there. I don't know. But she finished the letter. The letter was saying that she's tired of being tied down and she should be free and she should be able to express who she really is. Or she didn't really use the word express, but she said that she should be free to use the things that she was born with and to be who she was meant to be. And she doesn't want to live in a place anymore where she's so restricted or tied down, okay? And and then she looked right over at me. And she was like this dark skin, not too dark, it was light skinned, like ethnic color skin. And she had like freckles all over her face, and she had a big gap between her teeth, and she was so distraught. She was so distraught. Like just being trapped in this shed, right? But she looked right at me. And I have to wonder if at the end of her life, if she knew, like if she went, Actually, no, I don't. Actually, I'll tell y'all in a minute. Sorry. I said, hey, I'm your future self. So I guess in essence, I'm your higher self. said, I came to ask you for permission to use our gifts in my lifetime that I'm in right now. Because you not being able to show them here and to use them here has created a blockage in my lifetime, and I'm not able to use or share mine. Like, I have a fear of doing it because of the fears that were carried over from your lifetime. So is it okay if I use the gifts that you're unable to use in this lifetime in mine, because it is safe to do so? And she said yes. And we hugged. And then she put the letter down and she took off out of the shed and ran and got to this sign, like that's at the top of like ranches and stuff. I wish I knew what the sign said, but she got there and someone shot her in the head right here. I saw it. And what's really extremely, amazingly crazy is that exact scene right there with that sign right there was a dream that I had recurrently as a child. That dream was haunting me as a child, like a lot. And then it was just such confirmation for me that I was doing what I was supposed to do. And also I had always struggled with migraine headaches right here, on the right side, always. And it was because of that, because I haven't had one ever since. And once I got prayed over and like I thought it healed and stuff. But you know what, whenever someone prays for something, or you get like an energy clearing or something like that to clear out any pain or problems, like symptoms and stuff like that, it will alleviate the pain. It's like taking pain medication kind of, but you're not really fixing the root problem. In my case, the root issue was resolved in a past life. So it took having to do like regression and going back into the past life, the root issue, the root cause of it, in order for it to heal. So the pain of my migraine was alleviated to some extent, to some degree, but until I went back to that past life and realized like where it came from and lived through that and accepted the fact of, accepted why it happened, and just like, felt through that memory rather than completely disregarding and rejecting it, healed in real time the pain that I used to have in my head. And then after that, so what happened was, it helped heal and clear all like contracts and verbal agreements that I wouldn't use my gifts, and I wouldn't speak my truth, and I wouldn't, that kind of thing. So what that did was it cleared it all, because I asked for her permission. And so her soul to my soul, or our soul, both agreed, like in real time, that I wouldn't hide or have fear about sharing my truth and or using any gifts that I was given